Hi guys, so as we approach the G7 summit, which is due to take place on the second week of June, there is a huge amount of pressure on Boris Johnson and Liz Truss in particular, his International Trade Secretary, to sign a trade deal with Australia and New Zealand. Now, we've seen how good Liz Truss is with deals when it comes to Japan, for example, her trying to sell cheese to a society that is basically lactose intolerant. And the fact that the trade deal that she did get with Japan was worse than the conditions that the UK had as a member of the European Union. Now, as I said, there's pressure on Liz Truss to sign a trade deal with Australia and New Zealand. And on the other side, the problem with this is that the Australians and the New Zealanders want to have zero tariffs on exports. So they want their goods to flow into the UK without tariffs. Now, it's important to remember that tariffs are a means of protecting national industries. For example, when it comes to Wales, lamb, and other parts of the UK, for example, beef. It is important also to remember that Australia is not all that pushed about actually signing a trade deal with the UK, because most of the trade that Australia has is with countries around Australia. So in Asia, China, for example. It doesn't sell a lot of things to the UK. It would like a trade deal, yes, but it's not, as I said, not all that pushed about it. While the UK is extremely interested in signing a trade deal, not for economic reasons, not for trade reasons in a sense, but more for political reasons. Boris Johnson needs to convince Brexiteers that Brexit has been a success, and signing trade deals with countries all around the world, whether they're good or not, comes across as something positive for Brexiteers. Now, I want to show you this report from Australia. This is Sky News in Australia, where they're going to talk about the Australian side of this.
Australia and the UK have reached a consensus on the vast majority of elements of a free trade deal. Trade Minister Dan Tehan and British counterpart Liz Truss met in person in London this week to hammer out the deal. The British government is under domestic pressure to strike a series of free trade agreements to justify leaving the European Union. Australia is seeking removal of all tariffs and quotas, but the UK has insisted that some protections remain for farmers. In a statement, Minister Tehan confirmed both countries are confident that the remaining issues will be resolved and will now enter a sprint to agree the outstanding details with the aim of reaching agreement in principle by June. It is expected the deal will be formally signed when Prime Minister Scott Morrison visits the UK for the G7 summit.
Okay, so what's the problem here? The problem is that certain industries in the UK are concerned with Australia having a free trade deal that has zero tariffs on it. Now, as you've heard in the report here, Boris Johnson's government don't want to eliminate tariffs. But if they're desperate for a trade deal, they might just do that. And today there was a reaction to this news from the National Farmers Union, who are extremely concerned. This is their tweet. It says, it's clear negotiators from Australia and New Zealand are sticking firm to their hardline demands for the complete removal of tariffs on all exports to the UK. This would make life unbearable for small business family farms. It goes on to say, the plain truth is this: removing tariffs for vast, unmanageable volumes of Australian beef and New Zealand lamb, or God forbid, allowing zero tariffs on all their produce, could spell the end. The government says it wants to level up Britain, but this can never be achieved by throwing our family farms under the bus, says Minette Batters, who is proud of British farming high standards. It's also important we support our government's stated objectives. Trade deals should secure broad reduction of tariffs while taking into account UK product sensitivities, in particular for agriculture. So the Farmers Union, yes, want to protect their sector, of course. But the problem is, as we've seen before, Liz Truss and Boris Johnson, when push comes to shove, they'll just sign whatever trade deal they can. As I said before, this is not about signing trade deals that are good for Britain. It's about signing trade deals that are good for the media, which are good to present to the public, something that can keep Brexiteers on board. And unfortunately, as we've seen before, when it comes to protecting businesses, protecting individuals, the Brexiteers don't care. If Liz Truss signs a trade deal, no matter what it doesn't matter what's in it, even though we actually won't know because the government have limited Parliament's access to scrutinize those deals, then no matter what's in it, we will not know. And you can be probably sure that whatever is in it will not be good for Britain. It will probably be good for New Zealand and Australia, but not for Britain. Because as I said before, it's just window dressing. It's just an attempt to convince the Brexiteers that everything is going along smoothly. Everything is going along according to plan. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?